Please chant with me. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I hope everybody can see.
Yes, Bante.
Yes,
So this is the sutta we are going to discuss, the last part of this sutta. Okay, can somebody read?
I could.
Okay.
Okay.
Supported by the 6 elements, an embryo is conceived. When it is conceived, there are name and form. Name and form are conditions for the 6 sense fields. The 6 sense fields are conditions for contact. Contact is a condition for feeling. It's for one who feels that I declare, this is suffering. This is the origin of suffering. This is the cessation of suffering. This is the practice that leads to the cessation of suffering. Do you want more?
Yeah, go ahead.
And what is the noble truth of suffering? Rebirth is suffering. Old age is suffering. Death is suffering. Sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress are suffering. Association with the disliked is suffering. Separation from the liked is suffering. Not getting what you wish for is suffering. In brief, the 5 grasping aggregates are suffering. This is called the noble truth of suffering.
Sadhu, we rejoice in your reading and bless you. So we talked about this, right? Last time, supported by 6 elements. An embryo is conceived, as we discussed. The elements are the earth element, water element, fire element, air element, space element, and consciousness element. And that is how the embryo is conceived. Channang bhikkhave dhatuna upadaya gabbhasa vakkanti hoti in Pali. Okkantya sati nama rupa. When it is conceived, there are mentality and materiality. Again, we talked about that. That is the cause for consciousness to arise. Nama rupa pacha salayatana. And this mentality and materiality form the 6 sense bases: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Depending on the 6 sense bases, contact arises. And contact is the condition for feeling. And Buddha teaches there comes the noble truth of suffering, origin of suffering, end of suffering, and the path leading to the end of suffering. Vedyamanassa ko pannaham bhikkhave idan dukkhanti paññāpe. And then Buddha teaches about the first noble truth. Jatipi dukkha. What is the meaning of jatipi dukkha?
Birth is suffering.
Birth is suffering. Jarapi dukkha.
Old age is suffering.
Old age is suffering. Maranampi dukkha. Death is suffering, right? Soka, parideva, dukkha, domanasa, upayasa, api dukkha. Sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress are suffering. So this is a noble truth. That means you cannot say, oh, these are only for Buddhists. These are only for this person, not for that person. We cannot say like that. This is a noble truth. Apehi sampayogo dukkha. Association with the disliked is suffering. Piyehi vipayogo dukkho. Separation from the light is suffering, right? People die, our loved ones died. Then we cry, we are sad. Yampichang nalabati tampi dukkang. Not getting what you wish for is suffering. And the Sankittena Panchupadana Kanda Dukkha. In brief, the 5 grasping aggregates are suffering. This is called the noble truth of suffering. So do you have any questions about the noble truth of suffering? And if you go to Satya Vibhanga Sutta, you can read about the meaning, the explanations about birth, about old age, about death. You can read the meaning of these things. Sorrow, lamentation, each and every word here is explained by the Buddha in the Satya Vibhanga Sutta. You can read that in the Parita book also. There is Satya Vibhanga Sutta, Pali and English Parita book, and it is from the Majjhima Nikaya, Middle End Discourses of the Buddha. Okay. So that is the noble truth of suffering. Did only Buddha talk about suffering?
No.
No, the Buddha also taught about the cause of suffering. And here, as the cause of suffering, Buddha teaches about the dependent origination. Katamancha bhikkhave dukkha samudayang ariya satchang. What is the noble truth of the origin of suffering? This is very important. And Buddha here teaches all the causes and conditions that lead to this result. What is the result? Suffering. So here result is suffering, and this is the cause. There is not only one cause, there are many causes. And Buddha explains one by one all of them, all the causes that leads to suffering. I want everybody to chant this. The Pali, the cause, all the causes lead to the suffering. If we understand the causes lead to suffering, then we can stop them. If you stop the causes for the arranging of suffering, what will happen? There will be no suffering. So first we need to understand the problem. That is what Buddha is doing here. Buddha explains the causes. Then we understand, okay, how do we stop these causes? Right? So can everybody chant nicely? Avidya paccaya sankhara.
Sankhara paccaya.
Can everybody follow me? So you know where we are chanting, right?
Okay, Bhante.
Yeah. Avidya. Okay, say after me. Avidya paccaya
Avidya paccaya
sankhara.
sankhara.
Sankhara paccaya
Sankhara paccaya
vijnana.
Vinyana.
Vijnana paccaya
Vinyana Pachaya.
nama rupam.
Nama Rupam.
Nama rupa paccaya
Nama Rupa Pachaya.
salhayatanam.
Salayatanam.
Salayatana paccaya
Salayatana Pachaya.
hasso.
Asso.
Hassa paccaya
Pachaya.
vedana.
Vedana.
Vedana paccaya
Pachaya.
tanha.
Tanha.
Tanha paccaya
Tanha Pachaya.
upadana.
Upadana.
Upadana paccaya
Upadana Pachaya.
bhau.
Bahu.
Bhavapachaya
Bhavapachaya
Jati.
Jati
Jatipachaya
Jatipachaya
Jara Maranam.
Jara Maranam
Soka
Soka
Harideva.
Harideva
Dukkha
Dukkha
Domanassa Upayasa
Upayasa
Sambhavanti
Sambhavanti
Eva Metassa
Evametassa
Kevalassa
Kevalassa
Dukkha Kandhassa
Dukkha
Samudayo Hoti
Samudayo Hoti
Idang Vucchati
Idam Bucchati
Bhikkhave
Bhikkhave
Dukkha Samudayang
Dukkha Samadayam
Ariya Satchang.
Ariya Satcham.
Okay, so this is a beautiful chanting that normally Bhantes in monasteries, normally they do every morning, like in the morning chanting. We do like this. So let's chant together. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Avijja paccaya sankhara. Sankhara paccaya viññānam. Viññāna paccaya nāmarūpam. Nāmarūpa paccaya salāyatanam. Salayatana paccaya passo. Passa paccaya vedana. Vedana paccaya tanha. Tanha paccaya upadana. Upadana paccaya bhavo. Bhava paccaya jati. Jati paccaya jara maranam. Soka parideva. Dukkha domana supayasa. Sambhavanti. Eva me tassa kevalassa. Dukkha kandhassa samudayoti. Idang vuccati bhikkhave. Dukkha samudayam ariya sattam. Sadhu. So this, the cause of suffering, how these links are all the way leading to the aging, sickness, death, crying, sadness, stress, depression, how this each and every link all the way leading to suffering. This discovery was amazing. This discovery was amazing. And do you know how the Buddha discovered this one by one? He was sitting under that Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya in India. You can still see that Bodhi tree. That's amazing. And while Buddha sitting there, he was practicing the breathing meditation. With that concentrated mind, he was able to investigate one by one without the help of a teacher. Now he's doing by himself. And if you like to read how the Buddha discovered these things one by one without the help of a teacher, this is where you should go. You go to Sutta Central. You go to Sutta. You go to Samyutta Nikaya. You go to Nidana Vagga. Nidana Samyutta. You go to Vipassana Sutta, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so because all the Buddhas understand the dependent origination in the same way, Buddha uses here, Buddha explains about a previous Buddha, Vipassana, the Blessed One. And this is how Buddha was doing the investigation. The fully awakened Buddha had this thought before his awakening. Alas, this world has fallen into trouble. It is born, grows old, dies, passes away, and is reborn. Yet it doesn't understand how to escape from this suffering, from old age and death. Or when will an escape be found from this suffering, from old age and death? Then Vipassana, the one intent on awakening, the Buddha to be taught, when what exists is their old age and death. What is a condition for old age and death? Then through proper attention, that's the translation for Yoniso Manasikara. Now he is in the deep meditation and he also uses the Vipassana knowledge. Through proper attention, Vipassana Buddha to be comprehended with wisdom. What did he comprehend? When birth exists, there is old age and death. Birth is a condition for old age and death. So what is the suffering that is present in the world? What is the cause, as Buddha realized? It's the birth. That's the powerful discovery. That's a powerful discovery. So we need to understand when we get sick, when we get old, when these problems come to the life, we need to understand it is because of not some external person. There's no another person giving us suffering. Nobody is punishing us, giving us pain. It's the birth. And then the Buddha keeps investigating. When what exists is their rebirth. What is the condition for rebirth? Like that, that is how Buddha examined the causes and conditions behind this existence one by one, one by one. Isn't that amazing? So that is how he discovered, and we chanted the result of his discovery. And I just showed you how he discovered them one by one through his Vipassana knowledge. And now we are going to learn the meaning of what we just learned. So this is the cause of suffering. But here we are going to start learning from the last one. What is the last one? This part. Jara Maranam. Shoka Parideva. That means
Old age.
we are going to, old age, death, sorrow. That is our current problem, right? And this is also not only the problem of this life, this is the problem in every life. So we are going to learn about that. What can we learn about that? We go to a different sutta because this is only a summary of the discovery of the Buddha as the cause of suffering. To learn more about each and every thing that leads to the suffering, we go to a different sutta, and that is Vibhanga Sutta, Paticca Samuppada Vibhanga Sutta, analysis. You can see the same thing here. Buddha teaches, I will teach you and analyze for you the dependent origination. Listen and pay close attention, I will speak. And so Buddha explained about the dependent origination. That's what we chanted. And now you can see here, Buddha is teaching the meaning. So we have Pali here. You like to see Pali as well?
Yes, please, Bante.
So what is the Pali word for old age and death?
Jara Mara.
Jara Marana. Okay.
Jara Marana.
Jara Marana. Yes. And now Buddha is explaining about the meaning of Jara Marana. Can somebody read the meaning? This part, starting from here.
I can try,
Yes,
Bante.
Bante.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Vani? Is that Vani?
I think it was Gita, was it not?
Yes, Bante.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Mhm.
And what is old age and death? The old age, decrepitude, broken teeth, gray hair, wrinkly skin, diminished vitality, and failing faculties of the various sentient beings is the various orders of sentient beings. This is called old age. The
Sounds.
past.
Yeah, so that's the old age. First we discuss about that. So Jara, Jiranata, Khandichang, Palichang, Valitachata, Ayuno Sanghani, Indriyanam Paripako. That's the old age. First Buddha explains about old age. Are these things suffering or happiness?
Suffering, Bante.
Suffering, Bante.
Broken teeth, gray hair, wrinkly skin, huh? Failing faculties, Indriyanam Paripako, that means we lose eyesight, we lose hearing, we can't move our hands and legs, we can't walk. That's old age is suffering, right?
Yes, Bante.
So Buddha explains old age like that. And here, next Buddha explains about Maranam. Maranam means death. How does Buddha explain about death?
Did you want me to continue?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Another
ahead.
Kalyanamitta can read?
Okay, I'll try to read.
Mhm.
The passing away, perishing, disintegration, damage, mortality, death, disease, breaking up of the aggregates, and laying to rest of the corpse of the various sentient beings in the various orders of sentient beings. This is called death. Such is old age and such is death. This is called old age and death.
Very good. Sadhu, sadhu. We rejoice in you. So, Chuti, Chavanata, Bhedo, Antaradhana, Machumarana, Kalakiriya, Khandanam Bedo, Kalebaras Nikhepo. Buddha explains about death. So, yeah, breaking of the aggregates. Also, another word for death. Laying aside the body, dead body, the corpse is also death. Passing away. Everybody understands the death?
Yes, Bante.
Okay. Now, what is our next question?
What is
What
rebirth?
causes?
No, now let's say now we don't know about rebirth, okay?
Yeah.
What, like, let's do this investigation the same way that Buddha did. Buddha to be, Bodhisattva did, okay? Now we learned about the problem, okay? Now aging, death, and the sorrow, pain, all this suffering. Now what is our question? How do we question?
What causes
cause?
old age and
What is
death?
the cause?
Yeah.
Who is behind this? Is there an somebody behind this who is giving us this life? Who is giving us this old age? Who is giving us diseases? Is there somebody? What is
Rebirth.
behind this? Right? That is our question, right?
Yes.
And then Buddha realized the answer. So we also know the answer. What is the answer?
Rebirth.
Rebirth. And here Buddha explains about rebirth. Who is going to read that?
Can I?
Go ahead.
So, and what is rebirth? The rebirth, inception, conception, reincarnation, manifestation of the aggregates, and acquisition of the sense fields of the various sentient beings in the various orders of sentient beings. This is called rebirth.
Sadhu, sadhu. That's rebirth. So, jati, birth, sanjati, special birth, okkanti, conception in a mother's womb, abhinibbanti, reincarnation, khandanang patu bhavo. That means another word for birth. Coming together of the 5 clinging groups: form, feeling, perception, volitions, consciousness. That is the being. And another word for birth is acquisition of the sense fields. Combination of eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Now we have given names for these 6 senses. We have names for 6 senses, right? That's your name. That is birth. Another name for birth is the 6 senses. Only thing is we have different names, but we all have the 6 sense bases. Buddha teaches that is birth. And also when Buddha teaches 5 groups of clinging are the birth, that means if there is a life somewhere, that means the combination of these 5 things: form, feeling, perception, volitions, and consciousness. There is no life whatsoever without these 5 things. There is no life exists without consciousness. No being. If there is a being, definitely these 5 things should be there. There are no beings without consciousness. Understand this very clearly. There are no beings without consciousness. If there is a being somewhere, in animal world, in ghost world, in heavenly world, in Brahma world, there are these 5 things that makes a being. Yes, sometimes we call about some realms, formless realms, form realms. That is a different meaning. Formless means the form is subtle, that we cannot see with our naked eye. But Buddha can see even those subtle forms. Buddha can see the Devas, Brahmas, but they have been reborn in a formless world. Formless world means their body is very subtle. But there is a body. There is a mind. If there is a being, there is a... Why? How do we understand? Because when Buddha explains the birth, Buddha explains it is the combination of these 5 things. It is the combination appearance of the six sense bases, that is birth. Okay, now we know for all the problems in our life, what is the reason?
Birth is the
Okay,
reason.
now you like to be reborn. My question. Huh?
No.
You say birth is the cause of the problems. Okay, now you should not blame anybody, okay? When you suffer, when you are angry, when you cry, when you sad, don't blame anybody. Oh, because of you I am suffering. Don't say that. Who to be blamed?
Ignorance.
Blame birth. Blame the birth. Okay, that's a very good way to think. It is the truth. Don't blame Corona, because Corona cannot hear you. Blame the birth. If we keep reborn, we will meet these problems again and again. That's how we understand the dependent origination. So you like to be reborn?
No, Bante.
I'm sorry to say that even though you don't like to be reborn, you will be reborn. Right?
Not if we follow the Eightfold Path.
Yeah, fully follow
Yeah,
the full path fully.
Absolutely.
Then definitely, then you will not be reborn. But whether we like or not, we will be reborn. What is the reason?
Craving.
Power.
Then we need the next one. Then we need to know the next one. If we are going to be reborn, whether we like or not, then we have the question, why? How do we stop rebirth? It is because of what?
Continued existence.
Arranging of karma.
Continued existence, bhava, or arranging of karma. We translate it as arranging of karma. Okay, katamacha bhikkhave bhava. Bhava means the Pali word, and that is the arranging of karma. So what is the reason for our birth? Is there a creator? Did a creator create our life?
No, Bante.
No. What is the reason? Arranging of
Karma.
As long as there is arranging of karma, there will be birth. Then we know, okay, if we can stop arranging of karma, then we will not be born. So for that, we need to understand what is bhava. Can somebody read so we can understand?
I can read, Bante.
Okay.
And what is continued existence? There are these three states of existence. Existence in the sensual realm, the realm of luminous form, and the formless realm. This is called continued existence.
So we rejoice in you already. So that is, Buddha explains there are three types of bhava, and we can understand very clearly what Buddha meant there. Here we go to a different sutta. This is Bhava Sutta, Patama Bhava Sutta from the numerical discourses. See, everything is in the suttas. Buddha has explained everything, even though it is not in the original sutta, that the main sutta we are learning. It's still the explanations are in other suttas. So Ananda Bhante one day asked, Bhavo bhavati Bhante vucchati. Kittavatanukko bhante bhava. What is the meaning of bhava bhante? And Buddha answered, Kama dhatu vepakkhanchananda kammang na bhavisyasi. Apinuko kama bhava panyayeta. If Ananda, there were no deeds to result in the sensual realm. Sensual realm means a word for the human world and the heavenly world. Would continued existence of bhava in the sensual realm still come about? Ananda Bhante answers, no Bhante. So that means kammang, kamadhatu vekpakkhanchananda kammang. Kamma, you see kamma, the word kamma here? So when there is karma, when there are no karma, here translated as deeds or actions or karma, when there is no karma to result, will there be a bhava?
No,
That's the
Bhante.
question.
More.
And Ananda Bhante says no. So then what is the karma? What is the bhava? If there is karma to result in sensual realm, in rupa bhava, form bhava, and arupa bhava. There are three types of arranging of karma or realms. If there is karma to result in those realms, then there comes the bhava. And Buddha explains further. Kammang kettam. This is how the bhava is explained in detail. Kammang kettam. Our actions are the field. Viññānaṁ bījaṁ. Consciousness is the seed. These are the necessary factors for a bhava. Tanha sineho. Craving is the moisture. And this is how the bhava supports the rebirth, okay? Avijja nīvaranānaṁ sattānaṁ tanha saṅyojanaṇaṁ hīnāya dhātuya viññānaṁ patitthitam. Evaṁ āyatin punabbhava abhinibbanti hoti. This is how arranging of karma supports rebirth. Now you have the actions as the field, the actions we do with body, speech and mind. We are making karma. We have the consciousness as the seed that is always functioning in our six senses. We have the craving as the moisture. So it is a wet consciousness. It's not dry, it's not dying, because we are giving the water, that is craving. Result. The consciousness of sentient beings hindered by ignorance, that's the not knowing the Four Noble Truths, and fettered by craving, is established in a lower realm. That means in the human world, in hell, animal world, ghost world, or heavenly world. When the consciousness is established in any of those lower realms, that is how there is rebirth into a new state of existence in the future. Did you see that? Very clearly Buddha explains how the karma supports for the rebirth. That is from Bhava Sutta. Very deep Dhamma, right? You read again and again. Dependent origination needs to be fully understood to become a stream entrant, even to attain the first stage of enlightenment. We all need to understand the dependent origination very clearly. That's why we take more time. Otherwise, we can finish in like very quickly. But we like to discuss one by one because it's very important. So today we learned about the suffering. What is the cause of suffering?
Craving is the cause of
No.
suffering.
You have to learn the exact way that Buddha discovered.
Birth is
Age, death.
We learned about suffering, aging and death
Yeah. So it's
and
rebirth.
suffering. What is the cause?
Rebirth.
birth.
Rebirth.
Rebirth.
Rebirth is the cause. And then we wanted to stop rebirth because nobody likes to be reborn, as I heard. Right?
That's right.
So then we wanted to stop rebirth. Then we realized, as Buddha discovered, what is the cause of rebirth?
The power,
Continued existence.
arranging of karma.
Arranging of
Of the
karma.
karma.
Arranging of karma. And inside that arranging of karma, there are more things. Consciousness as the seed, field is the karma, our actions, craving is the moisture, right? It's like growing a tree. And a new life means a new, like it's new tree means a new life. And this tree is not like the ordinary trees. This tree has 6 senses, 5 groups of clinging, and always the watering is happening, craving, right? So that is the tree of suffering. That's the tree of suffering. Okay. So that's all for today. And we are going to learn how to stop arranging of karma next Saturday. Okay. So we have to wait for next Saturday. But at least we can learn how to stop this, how to stop that. Then we can work on to some extent, right?
Yes, Bhante.
Is a amazing thing to know about these things. Otherwise, we wouldn't know. What is this? Why do we get sick? Why do we get old? Where are we going? What is happening to this life? Right? If we have to live with these questions, that is sad. But now we don't need to live with questions. We are going to learn one by one. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? That's a good thing, right? Getting closer to reality. Any questions?
Thank you, Bhante, for the beautiful sutta. Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Discourses of
Sadhu,
the Buddha.
Yes,
Yes.
wonderful.
Bhante, may I ask the question I didn't ask last week?
Okay.
Please, Bhante. Now, actually, Bhante has just touched that. So, Bhante, we just learned about how karma is the field. Consciousness is the seed.
Hmm.
And craving, the seed is
So
fueled by the
that
craving.
means when we do actions, okay, if the karma is the field, karma means actions, right? The things we do, the things we talk, the things we think, that's the karma. So that means when we do something, when we speak something, when we think something, consciousness is following that action. Because the consciousness is the seed. That is why, let's say, for example, if we say something bad against a virtuous person, a good person, against an enlightened person, because of our misunderstanding, because of our inner hate, if we say something, that words we are talking means that's karma, right? Good karma or bad karma?
Bad karma, Bhante.
Bad karma. So the consciousness is following that action. As soon as that person dies, if that is the karma that is more powerful in his life, there will be a new life and the consciousness gets established in a miserable plane. You see how consciousness is linked with the actions? Because the consciousness is arranging according to that action. That's why it's called the seed. Seed is growing. We cannot talk about separated consciousness and separated actions. Every time when we do something, the consciousness is arranging according to that action. As soon as the person dies, the consciousness gets established. Maybe in animal mother's womb, that is egg-born generation or womb-born generation in the animal world, or as a spontaneous generation, as a ghost or a hell being, that's a spontaneous birth, that consciousness gets established. Why? Who is there somebody sending consciousness here and there? No, the field is the karma. You know the farming land
Yes.
is the karma, and the consciousness is the seed. It's our own karma field. We harvested, we planted, we plowed it. It's our own karma field, and the consciousness is growing on that field. That's how rebirth happens.
And it is because of craving.
The craving is supported always. So is this a safe journey?
No, Bhante.
This is not a safe journey because it's very hard to control our actions, our words, our thoughts. They are influenced by the people around us. Sometimes we talk bad about good people, enlightened people, virtuous people. We misunderstand. We insult them. We misunderstand parents. We misunderstand the people who help us, and we talk about it. We think about them in a bad way. We do actions. It's a very dangerous journey.
Bhante.
Oh, can I continue first, please? Now, Bhante, then the tree grows, and then we reborn. We take a rebirth, Bhante. And then in that consciousness, when we take rebirth, the five aggregates is established in that rebirth. Now, Bhante, what I want to ask is, what about the Nama Rupa? How does Nama Rupa, where can we place Nama Rupa in this
It's
process?
coming. It's coming here. You have to wait for maybe 5-6 deep Dhamma class. See? Okay, today we were here. Today we were here, okay? Today we were here, Bhava. And we go Namarupa, okay? Go all the way down, still down. And we here, where is Namarupa? Oh, no, no.
Further, Swaminathan.
The main sutta is here.
Yeah.
Okay. So where is Namarupa?
Up at the top.
Here. Okay, so we were here, Bhava, okay, at Bhava. Okay, we go all the way down, still down, and here you find what?
But Bhante, you can touch a little bit.
No, you cannot touch a little bit. Those are the really deepest Dhamma.
Okay.
So we have to wait for few deep Dhamma classes. Definitely we will get an answer.
Yes,
Okay.
And
Bhante.
actually,
Yeah, Rob had a question.
Yeah, at the very instant that consciousness arises, does there have to be some craving present at that very instant that consciousness arises?
Yes, craving is always there. It's not that craving wasn't there before and it arose after. There is no such thing. It's always there.
It's a constant.
Always there.
I see. Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome. Ray, please ask.
In the sutta previous, when you were talking about the person that came to the Buddha on his deathbed, and the Buddha explained that something to him, and he received enlightenment by the understanding. And I know reading that's happened on a few times. So wisdom and understanding can bring you to enlightenment without having any of the precepts, because the person coming to the Buddha like that or listening would not be following 227 precepts.
As soon
or
as,
they might
as
be
soon
only
as,
following one or two.
no, as soon as he became the monk, he was fully established on all the 227 precepts. He was meditating as a virtuous monk then.
Oh, okay. So nobody has went and spoke to the Buddha or spoken to an enlightened monk, and through listening to them became enlightened instantly. It's been over after they walk away, they change.
Some
I
people,
thought there's some people that have.
yes, some people instantly attain enlightenment because as soon as they gain the ordination under the Buddha, they have precepts. Okay, they are establishing all the precepts. Becoming a monk means like the moment you become a monk means you are established on the 227 precepts. So you have precepts, and the mindfulness is fully developed because of the powerful good karma coming from past lives. Satipatthana is fully developed in the mind instantly. Jhanas are developed instantly. And the Noble Eightfold Path is fully followed within a few minutes or in a day or whatsoever. So that happens for some people, very fortunate, blessed people with a huge amount of good karma coming from past lives. But the majority, even in the time of the Buddha, had to follow the precepts, meditation, mindfulness, listen to many discourses for years and years. It depends on the individual's capability. Did you understand?
Thank you, Bhante. Yes, I have one more question. Sorry.
Okay.
So did the Buddha ever say what a virus or a disease is? Where did it come from, and what, like, is it what kind of a being is it?
Normally about diseases, so if we think about why we get sick, then we have an answer. We don't focus on this and that virus. We focus why we get sick. Because Buddha always guided us in the direction, that the necessary direction, and also the direction which helps us to end suffering. Buddha said, I know lots of things, but I only taught you very little, because it's enough for you to escape from suffering, because my goal is to teach you the path to end suffering. Right? So Buddha taught about why we get sick. Why we get sick is because we are reborn. Birth is the cause of sickness, right?
Right.
Yeah. And that's how we should understand.
Good. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah, otherwise, we will, people will debate about this virus, that virus, this is how it happened, this is how it happened. See how smart Buddha is? He wanted to always put us in the track. And there is also a meditation, a perception to develop as Adinava Sanya, the perception of drawbacks. You can go to Girimananda Sutta, and there Buddha teaches about meditation, kind of a reflection. In that reflection, Buddha uses the names of so many diseases. And Buddha asks us to develop that perception. It's like this. That's a powerful meditation to do. Buddha teaches this body has so many drawbacks. disadvantages, because this body is subject to eye diseases, ear diseases, to viruses, to kidney problems, to heart problems, and like that Buddha lists up a long list of diseases. Buddha teaches we should think like that. This body is subject to this and problems, so that helps us to weaken our attachment to the body and to the attachment of others' bodies.
I think Catherine has a question, Bante.
Okay, Catherine. We cannot hear you.
Oh, how come?
Okay, now we can hear. Yeah, ask your question, please.
You know, we were talking about the support of rebirth.
Can you speak up, please?
As a field.
It's not clear.
As consciousness, right? So if we have the karma, if we have a good karma or bad karma, right? Or good seeds or bad seeds, right? So if it's a good seed, and then the tree grows, right? Like the example, moisture and all these same, right? Like we are reborn. Like if we have good seeds, does that mean then we will be born in a good family? Example, if you're not enlightened, you know, and not, you know, as a non-return or whatever. No,
Yeah, basically we don't talk about the seed as a good seed or a bad seed. We talk about the we cannot control the goodness and badness of the consciousness. What we can control is our actions. Then we call good actions and bad actions. We can call that. We can call good actions and bad actions, but we don't call good seed and bad seed, because the only thing we can control is our actions, and the consciousness is always reformed according to the actions. So what gives us a happy rebirth is our actions. That's how we should learn. Our good actions gives a happy rebirth. Bad actions gives a painful rebirth. That's how we understand.
So
We cannot control consciousness.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
the
if
action we control.
Okay, one thing. So
Okay.
a follow up on this. If it's a good rebirth, that means we have good actions before, right?
Correct.
So then good rebirth means like some people when they're born and they're rich already, like, you know. So does that mean that relates somehow, like it's connected?
Yeah, they did lots of good things in their past lives. They were very generous. They helped others. That's why in this life they are really rich. But they, unfortunately, they don't know that they did good things in past lives. They practice giving and sharing in their past lives. That's why I have become a billionaire, millionaire, trillionaire, or whatever. They don't know, right? But Buddha knew very clearly they did good things in their past lives. That's why they are very beautiful now. They are very handsome. They are very rich. They are very popular. They have lots of skills. It's all because they did good things in their past lives. Please tell those rich people, gorgeous people, popular people, tell them you did good things in your past life, so continue your good actions in this life too. Can you give that message to those people?
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, so I think we discussed lots of things today because of the enlightenment of the Buddha, right? Is everybody happy?
Yes, Bhante.
Yes, Bante.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you,
That was
Bante. Thank you.
phenomenal.
Namo Buddhaya.
So we share merit with our teacher, Loku Swamin Wahanse. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu,
We share merit with all the devas. Sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu,
We share merit with our friends, parents, and with all beings. May everybody enjoy long life, good health, happiness, and peace. May all of us have the opportunity to follow the Dhamma path peacefully and attain lasting happiness, true happiness, Nibbana. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu.
Okay. Abhivadana Sinis Nichang Vada Pachayino Chattaru Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvano Sukham Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Minati Samijjatu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Say after me, O Kasavandami Bante,
Ukasavandami Bhante.
Maya Katam Punyang,
Maya Katam Punyam.
Tamina Anumoditabang,
Tamina Anumoditabang.
Tamina Katam Punyang,
Samina Katam Punyam.
Maihanda Tabang,
Maihanda Tabang.
Sadhu Sadhu Anumodami,
Sadhu Sadhu Anumodami.
O Kasadwaratena,
O Kasadwaratena.
Varatena.
Atang Sabang Achayang,
Katang Sapang
Pangachayam.
Amatame Bante,
Ami Bhante.
O Kasakamami Bante,
Kamami Bhante.
Dutiyampi O Kasakamami Bante,
Ditiyam Yokasakamami Bhante.
Tatiyampi O Kasakamami Bante,
Tatiyam Yokasakamami Bhante.
Sukhi Hotu, Sukhi Hontu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
May you be well and happy.
Sadhu. May you be well and happy too.
Namo
Sadhu.
Buddhaya.
Nama Buddhaya Bante. Stay still,
Bhante, Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Namo Buddhaya
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Thank you.
Namo
Thank you,
Buddhaya
Bhante.
Bhante. Namo
Be
Buddhaya.
safe, Bhante. Take care of
Thank
your
you,
health.
thank you.
well,
Be safe.
Bante.
Namo Buddhaya Bhante.
Namo
Namo
Buddhaya.
Buddhaya Bante.
Namo Buddhaya.